Hola Español 3, aquí estamos. Ya tengo una nueva bebé en el mundo y podemos seguir y continuar con el Español 3. Um, Vamos a repasar el lesson plan. If you haven't done it already, make sure you take that Chapter 5 vocab quiz. It should be in the quizzes tab. I labeled it warm up /2 or did I label it /2? Oh no. Let's see what I labeled it. It should be 4/7, but it's possible that lack of sleep makes my brain function differently. Let's see. It should be in the quizzes tab though. I tried to add it to the warm up tab and it doesn't register as being something that exists. No, I labeled it right. Warm up 4/7, chapter 5 vocab quiz. I'll fix that in the announcements after this video. Cool. So it'll be there. Also, after that warm up, you're going to watch this video, which you're doing right now, so that's good. And then in the process, there's a couple of other assignments. One of those assignments is going to be in the homework classwork. It's called Una Conversación, page 213 to 215. Those of you who may have worked ahead last week when I mysteriously disappeared for a day, it's there. You may have already started, and so you can just either upload a photo of whatever you did or upload your notability note if you haven't started. Totally fine. You have time to work on it today. And then also, page 214A is in the participation section. All of that, though, is listed in the lesson plans for the day. So page 214A, homework classwork, do this, and then exit game. This is actually saved as an exit ticket, exit ticket 4/7, nunca e. And I'll explain how to play that game in a moment. Let's start, though, by reaffirming some of the things that we know about acuerdo and desacuerdo. So here we go. If you have your books, we're on page 213. Last time we were together, we went over some of these phrases. And again, the book likes to add things that are extra. So I'm going to highlight what's the heart of these phrases. Yo estoy de acuerdo is how you say, I agree. I am in agreement. I am of accord. Now you can say con usted, contigo, but the phrase I agree is yo estoy de acuerdo. Oops. Yo tengo la misma opinión. Is I have the same opinion. Now, you'll notice that there are different additives, con versus que. So if you're saying I have the same opinion as you, you would use que. Que doesn't always translate as, just in this context, that's how you use it. Whereas if you are like, I agree with you, we use with. I am in agreement with you. And then a mi parecer, usted tiene razón. The heart of this that you need to know is tiene razón. So if you're talking to someone in the to form, it's going to be tienes razón. If you're talking to someone in the usted, tiene razón. If they have razón, it's usted tienen razón. If we're right, tenemos razón. Tengo razón is I'm right. So it's tener plus razón is to be right or to have reason. To say that you're not in agreement is... Let's change it to red. Obviously, the inverse, no estoy de acuerdo. Estoy en contra is I am against. Estoy en contra de su idea. So you can say I'm against his idea. Or if you're saying I'm against your idea, estoy en contra de tu idea. Yo tengo una opinión completamente contraria a la suya. That's a very long phrase, but if you want to really nail it and be like, I have an opinion that is completely contrary to yours, that's what you're going to go with. No apruebo tal proyecto. I do not approve of such a project. No me convence nada. Doesn't convince me at all. Yo no estoy convencido. No estoy convencida if you're a female. And so these are ways to say agreement and disagreement, to express your agreement or disagreement with something. I know that it might be a little bit tedious, but I'm going to go all the way through all of these as well with you on the following page. So flip your book over if you have the next page available to you. I believe this is page 214. And they are ways of saying yes, no, or maybe. So here's some ways to say yes. Repeat after me. Sí. Es verdad. Verdad. Es cierto. Absolutamente. Sin duda. No hay duda. No cabe duda. Seguro. Precisamente. Exactamente. ¿Cómo no? Eso sí. Efectivamente. Entendido. Usted tiene razón. We've already gone over that one, yeah? De acuerdo. So for all the yeses, I'll go over the ones that, now I'll go over the translations for these just really quick. It could be that you already know what all of these mean, but let me point out just some. Now, the first thing is you've known this for a long time. So in any assignments where I'm like, use one of these phrases, this is not one of them. Also, es verdad means it's true. Verdad means true. Because sometimes in a conversation you can use either, but we're going to count these as the same one for the sake of assignments later. You'll understand later. Es cierto or cierto. So like it's true or true. Absolutamente. Now you'll notice that there's a lot of these things that have one of these on the end. Mente. Remember that wherever you see a mente, unless it's the word by itself, which just means mind, you're adding, in English, the equivalent is the ly, right? Meaning it's an adverb. So absolutamente is absolutely. Precisamente is precisely. Exactamente is exactly. Efectivamente, effectively. Sin duda, these three should look pretty familiar from our duda segment. Sin duda is without doubt. No hay duda is there is no doubt. No cabe duda, doubt does not fit. Seguro, sure. Como no literally means how not, but it's kind of like why not, or of course. Eso sí is like yes, that. Entendido is understood. Usted tiene razón is in the other section. So again, like this doesn't count as one of the yeses. And de acuerdo, which we already learned from the other section. But you can clearly use these, but for the assignment that I'm going to explain in a little bit, I want you to branch out a little. All right. Si usted quiere indicar que no sabe si está de acuerdo o no, puedes decir. In other words, if you don't know, here are things that you can say. Quizás, which you learned before means maybe. So let's do the repeat after me game. Quizás, puede ser, es posible, ya veremos. Si usted quiere, o si tú quieres, si lo dice usted, si lo dices tú, ¿usted cree? Or, ¿crees? No sé si me convences. Let's translate these really quick. Quizás means maybe. Puede ser is it could be. ¿Es posible? It's possible. Ya veremos. We will see. Or now we will see. Si usted quiere or tú quieres, it's like, well, I guess if you want. I mean, like that's super non-committal. Si lo dice usted, like if you say so. ¿Usted cree? Like you think? Or crees? You think? No sé si me convences. I don't know if you convince me. Right? So all of these are ways of being like, burr. And all of these are ways of saying, sí. And then here, what do you think we're going to be saying? No. So our first one, very obvious. No, you already know this. De ninguna manera. Jamás. Absolutamente no. En mi vida no puede ser. No hay manera. Imposible. So let's go through and translate these really quick. De ninguna manera means like no way. Of not even any manner. But it's like that's their way of being like no way. Jamás. Never. Absolutamente no. is like absolutely not. En mi vida is like, it literally translates to in my life, but it's like such a thing would not happen in my life. En mi vida, like kind of sarcastic. No puede ser, like it cannot be. No hay manera. There's no way. And imposible, impossible. So now that you know ways of expressing yes, no, or maybe, you'll notice that you do have that assignment, which is page 214A. How do I get back to here? Oh, there it is. Okay. Page 214A says respond to each of the statements. On page 214, Practica A, using one of the statements either from page 213 or 214. Try not to repeat any. So you can do this on paper. That's the file upload thing, or you can do it in a text entry box. But I want you to do all 8 of them. Probably the big part will be trying to understand what each of these things is saying. But after that, I want you to express how you feel about these things. Try to be accurate. Don't just like copy down things from the boxes above, but actually try to respond like, how do I feel about that? And then say, like, choose a yes, no, or maybe to respond to that. You don't have to write out the question, just write out the answer. Text entry box or file upload. Shouldn't take you too long. Just say yes, no, maybe, and try not to repeat. Cool? All right. Next, page 215, we have una conversación que continúa. It could be, like if you think about most conversations, most of them aren't just like a quick and simple, I agree, I disagree, I agree, I disagree, I agree, I disagree. But rather, sometimes you got to start a conversation. Sometimes you have to continue a conversation. And so here are ways. This first box here is para comenzar una conversación. If you want to start up a conversation, here are some things that you could say. Oye, Josefa, ¿sabes qué? O, ¿qué piensas de? Okay, so repeat after me. ¿Sabes qué? O, ¿qué piensas de? Or repeat after me. ¿Qué sabe de? Or, ¿qué piensa de? So let's translate these really quick. I love the way that Josefa and the Señor are referred to. Oye, Josefa, like, hey, Josefa. And pues, Señor is, well, sir. So you can call your friend however you would call your friend. And then you add one of these sentence starters. So sabes que is like, do you know that blank? So this is like the gossipy sentence starter. Let's see. ¿Sabes que? ¿Sabes que Señor Seals tiene coronavirus? Like, do you know that Mr. Seals has coronavirus? I don't. I'm squashing this rumor right away. Pero, ¿sabes que Señor Seals tiene coronavirus? ¿Qué piensas de no tener escuela? Right? So it's like, hey, what do you know that? And then ¿qué piensas de is like, what do you think about? So you're in either of these ways, you're soliciting a conversation. Or ¿qué sabe de? Like, what do you know about this? And or ¿qué piensa de? Which, like, again, they're just putting it in the usted form instead of the to form. So you can start a conversation with like, hey, what do you know about this? What do you think about this? Do you know that? That kind of thing. Cool. Si durante una conversación usted quiere tomar la palabra, usted puede decir, now if it's your turn to share, usted quiere tomar la palabra. If it's your turn to share and you're like, I want to say something about this, you're going to use these. Yo pienso que, or yo creo que, which is just your way of saying what you think or what you believe. Now, these are for like butting into the conversation. Escúchame, which is listen to me. Notice this is informal because you're using a to-form command here. Otherwise, it would be escúchenme or escúcheme, which would be the usted, which either way, you wouldn't like be like, listen to me, person that I respect. So, escúchame, that's the informal, like, hey, listen. Permítame decir algo. This is a little bit more formal. Permítame decir algo is like, permit me to say something. And it comes from the verb permitir, which you notice that it's permita, which means that this is subjunctive, so they're using the formal command. Permítame decir algo. permit me to say something. So these are ways that, like, if you want to get your words in, you can say, yo pienso, yo creo, escúchame, permíteme decir algo. Si usted quiere decir algo que tiene que ver con algo que otro acaba de decir, usted puede decir. So if you're like, someone is like, says something like, Taylor Swift has the best music in the world, and you want to respond to that either positively or negatively, you could be like, a propósito. Or you can say, en cuanto a eso. So repeat after me, a propósito. Or, en cuanto a eso. A propósito literally translates to like at purpose or on purpose, but it can kind of be like on the topic. And en cuanto a eso is kind of like regarding that. So if someone says something that's controversial or that you agree with, if you're like, en cuanto a eso, sí, es verdad, la música de Taylor Swift es bomba. And then last, if it's gotten too awkward because you've gotten into one of those conversations that you're not supposed to talk about, like it's Thanksgiving and someone brings up politics or religion, you say, cambiando de tema. Repite conmigo, cambiando de tema. Which means changing the subject. Okay. So those are ways to agree, to disagree, and to keep a conversation rolling. What I need you to do now is to work on the following. Una conversación. I need you to write a conversation between two people. You can choose the two people. You can make them up. It can be you and a person that you argue with all the time. It could be you and an imaginary person. It can be you and someone that you, I don't know, like someone that you might disagree with, but you can pretend like you're talking with them. You can have a conversation with Donald Trump or Bernie Sanders. You can talk to either of them. And here are your requirements, though. You need to make sure you use 2 phrases from page 213, agreement or disagreement. 4 phrases from 214, which is yes, no, or maybe. And remember, don't use sí, don't use no. If you say verdad and then say es verdad, like those aren't, like use different ones. And then use 2 phrases from page 215 in the conversation. So either person can say these things, but make sure that you got 2 from 213, 4 from 214, and 2 from 215. So that shouldn't take too long. However, what I have is I have this assignment due on Thursday. You'll notice that it's due April 9th. Just in case you're wanting to be super thorough and you're falling a little bit behind and you're going to miss the exit ticket time, I want you to do that. Now, before starting on that assignment, watch the rest of the video so you know what you have to do for the rest of the class, and then like you can pace yourself better depending on when you got started on all of this stuff. Because at the end of class, this exit ticket is going to be between 2:40 and 3 because I need you guys to respond to each other in a certain window. So at 2:40, you need to be ready to do this thing. So let's keep rolling in this video. The next thing that you guys are going to do is we're going to review, but I don't know if it's a review or not because I'm not sure you learned it in Spanish too. We're going to learn el presente perfecto. Now, if you've been keeping your repaso note, I'm not sure if this belongs in the repaso note, but it doesn't belong in the subjunctive note. So put this somewhere. You could start a new note called el presente perfecto or present perfect. And we're going to do this old school. Let's read it like we're reading it in class. The present perfect tense is formed by using the present tense of the helping auxiliary verb haber and the past participle. Study the following forms of the present tense of the verb haber. Now, when we did the 100 most common verbs in the beginning of the year, you probably remember, or 100 most common words, you probably remember our friend haber means to have. But the kind of to have that it is not the same as tener. Tener is to have like possession, right? And this is not the type of to have that we're talking about. So think in your mind, when do we say have that doesn't have to do with possession? I may, we use it quite a bit. So I could say things like, have you eaten today? Have you ever danced the Macarena? Now, like verbs like I have to that comes from tener, but notice all the ones that like are followed by a past participle. Have you danced? Have you eaten? Have we talked before? Talked, right? All of these usually it's this helper verb of have followed by a verb that's a past participle. So the yo form of haber is e, the tu form is has, the él or ella form is a, the nosotros form is hemos, the vosotros form, you're not in Spain, and the ellos form is han. So has, a, hemos, han. Say it with me. Has, a, hemos, han. Again. Has, a, hemos, han. Now, the thing about these verbs is since they are helper verbs, you will never find them alone. They always have a buddy with them, and that buddy is down here. It's a past participle. So you take the stem. If it's an AR verb, I know it says it above, but I'm writing it anyway. If it's an AR verb, it's ado. If it's an ER or IR verb, it's ido. So if I want to be like, have you eaten? Like I would use the tu form of haber, has, and then I would just add the participle, comido. If I wanted to be like, I have danced, which is bailar, I would say which is the I have part, and then danced is bailado. Now you'll notice that for the tu form, the participle stays like its form. Participles don't change. As far as the conjugation goes, it's haber that does the changing, but the participle that follows after it just is in its participle form. So, he bailado, has comido. Let's be like, hey, has he paid? Ha pagado? What about, let's be like, have we talked? Hemos hablado? Or what about, have y'all drank? Han tomado? So let's pretend like we're conjugating in the present perfect tense the verb. Let's do vivir. So if we're doing vivir, all you got to do is take all of these guys and put a vivido after it. So he vivido, I have lived. Has vivido, ha vivido, hemos vivido, han vivido. This is the present perfect tense. It's haber that is the functional changing verb that lets you know who has done the thing, and then the participle is the thing that was done, right? Now, this is Spanish, and so that means there's 8 million exceptions. So here are the exceptions. They're down here. Abrir, cubrir, descubrir, escribir, freír, romper, ver, morir, poner, volver, decir, hacer. Here's how I remember them. Are you ready for the best acronym ever? If you don't like cheese, it's probably because you're lactose intolerant. Because anyone who's not lactose intolerant has to love cheese because it's delicious. In fact, one of my favorite types of cheese is, oh, I should do this vertically, huh? Hold. One of my favorite types of cheese, it's yellow often, and it's a little like this. Are you guessing my favorite cheese yet? Especially like a good aged cheddar, right? It's my cheddar. Now, the thing about this is not enough, and I want to express how I feel about cheddar. So I want to let you know that it's not just cheddar. It's not just my cheddar. It's not just the most valuable player cheddar, but it's my very, very precious cheddar. So this is how you're going to remember this acronym. It's my very, very precious cheddar. The M is from morir, and morir changes to, oops, where are we? Why is this not working? There you go. Morir changes to muerto. So if you're like, I have died, he muerto. We have died, hemos muerto. I don't know. You probably wouldn't ever say that, I guess, unless you're in heaven telling Jesus, being like, I have died, he muerto. Visto comes from ver, is to see. So I have seen, he visto. Volver is vuelto. Poner is puesto. I'm going from memory here, so I might have to go up, cheat, and look up. Cubrir, is cubrir one of them? Yes? No? No? Yes? Yes. Cool. Cubrir is cubierto. Cubrir means to cover. So, hey, did she cover the table? Ha cubierto la mesa. Hacer. Why is it always hacer? That's the irregular. Hacer is hecho. If you've ever had something made in a Latin American country, you would see that it says hecho en Mexico, or hecho en El Salvador, means made, made or done. Have you done your homework? ¿Has hecho tu tarea? Escribir es escrito. ¿Ustedes han escrito una carta a tu congressman? Have you written a letter to your congressman? Decir, another one of our famous irregulars, is dicho. ¿Quién has dicho de ese rumor? Who have you told about that rumor? Cubierto, descubierto is discovered. Abrir is abierto. Oh, I didn't give you an example. Nosotros hemos descubierto la ciudad de Atlantis. Have we discovered the city of Atlantis? Ese restaurante de mis enchiladas favoritas ha abierto? Like, has it opened? Like, I'm waiting for it. And then last, romper is roto. ¿Has roto un hueso? Have you broken a bone? Cool. So these are all of our irregulars. If it's not one of these, or use one of these as a stem, because for example, dicho comes from decir, and so if there's anything that gets put on the front of dicho, like bendecir is to bless, so it'd be bendicho, which I don't think I've ever. Have you blessed him? I've never heard someone say that. But those are those. So here are the examples. Like they basically just walk through what I have already explained. But it's good that you have your books. Hopefully you have your books so that you can refer to this for our last activity. You guys are going to play a little game that you're hopefully familiar with. In Espanol, we call this game Nunca he. Nunca he. So, the people who have lived the most life are going to have to really look around for some things that they can say nunca he about. But here are my nunca he's. Nunca he visto High School Musical. Nunca he visto High School Musical. In English, like you might be familiar with this game, but in Spanish we call this nunca he. And if you have 5 fingers up and y tú has visto a High School Musical, tú pierdes un dedo. In English, this is called Never Have I Ever or I Have Never. And if you think about it, nunca means never, and the have here is have I, right? So never have I, and then you need to add a participle. So never have I. I'll give you one more example. Nunca he ido, which is a weird one, right? Because it's just the verb ir. But what happens when you eliminate the ending and you replace it with ido? You just turn it into ido. Nunca he ido a Paris. My European travelers out there, you would lose a finger. So here's what you're going to do. Between 2:40 and 3 o'clock, you guys are going to play a digital round of Nunca E. And so here's how it goes. I need you to do 3 separate posts. I know it sounds weird, but you're going to reply to this discussion 3 times. The first time you will write one of your Nunca Es. The second time, your second, your third. After you have done all of your Nunca Es, you're going to wait till your classmates have done theirs. And as they post theirs, I want you to like the ones that you have done. So if they say Nunca he, I don't know, like let's say I'm playing this game and I'm like Nunca he visto High School Musical, and you have seen High School Musical, you would like that post. At the end, we will tally between their 3 posts who has the most likes, and that person wins. So instead of people losing their fingers, it's going to be the people who have done, who have not done the thing that most other people have done. That's how you win this game in the digital version. So that's our game here. Clearly, obvious rules. Don't say things that are overtly offensive. And I think it's cheating to be like, never have I been a girl, because that's yeah, you're just automatically like singling people out. So have fun with this thing, and I hope you are growing in your learning of the Espanol. Hopefully you got my email yesterday explaining that because of baby dynamics, sometimes it's hard to sneak away for certain like fixed periods of time. But if you have any questions, don't hesitate to email me or even iMessage me, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And if you feel like a face-to-face explanation is going to be better, then we can do like I can set up a time where we can Zoom chat and do that. Hopefully after spring break, I can have a little bit more of an expectation of what my schedule looks like, and we can have fixed class times again. All right, guys, good luck on your work today. Bye-bye.